Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues and dear friends, it is with, I will take this in my hand, I guess it's easier, okay. It is with profound honor and enthusiasm that I welcome you to this extraordinary conference. Today, we gather not only to celebrate the conversation of technology, philosophy, and spirituality, but also to challenge our most fundamental conceptions of what it means to be human. In order to properly introduce our keynote speaker, Professor Stefan Lorenz-Sorgner from the John Cabot University in Rome, I want to share the journey that first brought his ideas to my attention, how he made me question whether I myself am in fact a cyborg or not, and how this conference came about. I first encountered Stefan through his books. His work on transhumanism, the most dangerous idea in the world, was among the very first to introduce me to the rich philosophical discourse surrounding transhumanism and post-human thought. At that time, as I was searching for a suitable platform to publish my first paper on the topic, reflecting transhumanist ideas from the perspective of Islamic theology, Kalam, I was delighted to discover that Stefan was the editor of the Journal of Posthuman Studies, a prestigious journal dedicated to critically exploring transhumanist philosophy, also including religious ideas. It was only natural that I should try to publish my paper with the man himself. Upon accepting my paper, after a meticulous review process, Stefan then encouraged me to dig deeper and invited me to participate in a very special gathering where we would discuss cosmology, ethics, and space travel. The workshop would take place in a picturesque little town in Italy called Viterbo, a place so idyllic, calming, and slow-paced that it seemed almost antithetical to the futuristic discourse on cyborgs and space travel that we were having. Yet soon I found myself sitting in the boutique garden of a charming cafe called, fittingly, Cosmonaut. There, Professor Maurizio Balestrieri introduced me to the authentic Italian cuisine and to the ethical dilemmas of a cosmonaut. We had a fascinating conversation there that continues to inspire me today. We are fortunate to have him here to the continuation of that dialogue, as he will be presenting to us and talk to us tomorrow about the theological implications of space travel and how it concerns Islamic ethics also. Among those enjoying their coffee with me in that beautiful garden was Andrej Nučaš, with whom I engaged in deep philosophical reflections on the nature of spirituality and the inner dialogue with the divine, characteristic to a transhumanist. It was fascinating to learn about his unique spiritual practices, which express a conviction of the transhumanist vision as sacred belief. It was totally new to me. I eagerly anticipate the continuation of that deep conversation we had, as he will speak to us tomorrow about transhumanism as a religion. The discussions that we had in Viterbo were so profound that we decided to follow them up with another workshop, this time here in Innsbruck. Yet, as I considered our gathering and realized that it would be an unforgivable mistake and a great loss not to invite one of the most prominent and harsh critics of transhumanist pursuit from a theological standpoint, our very own Professor Johannes Hoff, I got excited when he accepted my invitation. That was what was planned as a cozy gathering between friends would become this unique event that brought us all together here today. We are truly fortunate to have Professor Hoff here with us today, but what even is better is that he will open our first panel tomorrow alongside Andrej Nučaš. I cannot wait to witness the rich conversation that will unfold between these profound philosophical minds. I would also like to take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to my colleagues and friends at the Institute for Islamic Theology and Religious Education here at the University of Innsbruck, whose unwavering support and collaborative spirit have been instrumental to bringing this conference to fruition. I am especially indebted to Professor Abdullah Takım, the managing director of our institute, whose belief in and embrace of my vision for this conference has been pivotal. Without his support, the realization of this event would not have been possible. Thank you. So, why the name Sacred Cyborgs? As I am finally presenting to you our keynote speaker today, it is about time that we talked about cyborgs a little. So, what is a cyborg? In his very influential book on the topic, which asserts quite provocatively that we have always been cyborgs, Sorgner starts by fleshing out that we should forget about the Terminator or Robocop figures and thinking about cyborgs. He redefines a cyborg as a cybernetic organism, a being whose evolution has always been intertwined with technology. From the moment humans developed language, writing, and tools, we have been modifying and extending our cognitive and physical abilities, effectively merging biology with technology. The process of cyborgization, so he argues, did not begin with modern computers or prosthetics. It has been inherent to human nature since the dawn of civilization. Sorgner's philosophy rests on three core tenets. First, the continual transformation of the human being, meaning our evolution is not static but dynamic, and technology represents the next logical step in our evolutionary development. Second, a rejection of naive materialism. Sorgner aligns with the Spinozan monism in ontology, arguing that reality is best understood as a process of continual becoming, where mind and body are inseparable facets of a single dynamic whole. Third, the ethical imperative of transhumanism. Enhancing human capacities is not merely optional, but a moral responsibility, according to Sorgner, an endeavor to reduce suffering and expand human flourishing. Moreover, his critique of utopian transhumanism offers the necessary counterbalance to overzealous futurism. He cautions against envisioning flawless technological societies without addressing the complexities of human nature, advocating instead for a pragmatic, self-reflective approach. If what Sorgner suggests is right, and being cyborg is part of our very nature, and if it is at the same time true, though, that God created all nature, as a theologian, I'm starting from that point, and everything that God does is sacred, then it would mean that we have always been sacred cyborgs. So that's where the name comes from. To think along these lines introduces a moment of disruption in reconsidering the question, who am I and what exactly? What I call myself, does it rest within my soul? Or is my soul just what emerges as a consciousness from the neurobiological reactions in my brain? In considering these questions, should theology follow the lead of scientists and philosophers who are preconditioned to serve a materialist mindset? Or the other way around, should we abandon the ways how we do science in order to please the needs of a faithful mind? I'm not sure that we will find common ground in dissecting these questions, but I am confident that we will be able to pose more complicated questions in concluding this conference. It is difficult to overstate the importance of Stefan Sorgner's contributions to these discussions in contemporary transhumanist philosophy. Stefan has authored and edited numerous influential works. His extensive oeuvre includes Metaphysics Without Truth, 2007, We Have Always Been Cyborgs, 22, and Philosopher of Posthuman Art, also 22. Sorgner is also not afraid to engage in critical dialogue about his own thesis on transhumanism, as evidenced in recent publications like Transhumanismus, Streitfrage, 23, or his book Homo ex machina, der Mensch von morgen, Chancen und Risiken des Transhumanismus, also 23, in which he critically discusses the opportunities and risks of the transhumanist movement. His work has been translated into many different languages, including Korean and Greek, which further attests to the global resonance of his ideas. As the editor-in-chief and founding editor of the Journal of Posthuman Studies, published by Penn State University, and director and co-founder of the Beyond Humanism Network, a network that serves as a dynamic forum for interdisciplinary dialogue, he has established a vital forum for scholarly interdisciplinary exchange. We are truly honored to have him here as our keynote speaker today. Dear Stefan, it is with great anticipation and gratitude that we welcome you to the podium.